Hold up. This isn't some cheesy kid show. This is Kids in the Tank, a young perspective on business from high school students.
Welcome to Kids in the Tank. I'm Cassidy, and with me in the tank are Clay and Annalise. Today we are honored to have Christopher Piotrowski as our special guest. Christopher is currently the Executive Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer at Associated Bank. Christopher, you are officially in the hot seat.
Woohoo! Icebreaker. Do you bank with Associated Bank?
I do bank with Associated Bank. It's really important to make sure that you understand the products and services for the company that you work for. And so that's always one of the important aspects for any company that you work with.
So is that like the first order business when you started working there?
It is the first order business, and you know why? Because if you don't bank with Associated Bank, you don't get paid. So first thing everyone does is make sure they sign up with Associated Bank to make sure that you get your paycheck.
Sounds good.
What kind of marketing do you do at Associated Bank?
We do lots of different kinds of marketing. We do experiential marketing, which is really focusing on sports as well as the arts and entertainment and being able to interact with individuals that have those passion points. We also do traditional marketing, which would involve things like radio, TV, print, and broadcast. We also do a lot within the digital space, being social media, banner ads, websites, and really extending our reach from a video perspective. It also encompasses PR and public relations. And last but certainly not least, also giving back to the community is really important to us. And so we do coordinate with nonprofit partners in terms of what we do and how we do it.
Gotcha. Can you talk a little bit about how the roles of being the executive vice president versus the chief marketing officer differ?
Yeah, the executive vice president is functioning as a leader within the broader organization. And so that particular role is thinking through what is the strategy for the company, what's the strategy for the organization, and how do we work together in order to accomplish that. The role from a chief marketing officer is really specializing within the marketing world and thinking through how do we present ourselves in the marketplace, how are we able to engage customers as well as businesses, and really help drive the business from that perspective.
Gotcha.
How did you become the Chief Marketing Officer of the Year by the Milwaukee Business Journal?
I was very flattered and humbled by receiving the award. The entry for that particular award was really centered on marketing excellence, thinking through with a very dynamic environment, how are you tapping in, engaging, and evolving as customers and businesses are changing. And so in that particular case, what we were able to do is bring forward one of the programs that we have. It was called Interact with the Pack, which is an on-site interactive experience where consumers come through at Lambeau Field and they're able to submit their email address. And we give them the opportunity to interact with Jerry Kramer and Donald Driver and Randall Cobb and have that virtual reality experience. And we offered a surprise and delight on the back end in terms of being able to offer them a autographed photo via email that they were able to use in social media. And that was one of the most successful programs that we had in terms of driving new customers. And so that was one of the top marketing programs that were selected in order to earn that award.
Sweet. What are some other ways Associated Bank stays involved in the community?
Associated Bank is deeply involved in the community. We strive to give back 1% of our pre-tax profits. And one of the core tenets that we have is the way that we donate not only financially but also our time in the market. And so we give the opportunity to all of our colleagues to volunteer with nonprofit organizations each and every year. And we actually give colleagues the opportunity to make donations to the causes that they have. And so I'm very proud to say that I've logged over 120 hours of volunteer time across, not thousands, across 6 different organizations. And so I'm deeply passionate about health and human services, financial literacy, as well as the arts community within the Milwaukee area.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Why did you choose to get involved with Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and Milwaukee Ballet?
It's really important when you're thinking through the type of talent that we want to retain within the Wisconsin and Milwaukee market. Having a thriving arts community helps us have a thriving community in general. And both those organizations are going through a transformation right now. The Milwaukee Ballet is in the process of building a new facility in the 3rd Ward, and being able to be a part of that organization, help them build and grow into that new facility and continue to thrive within the Milwaukee market. It's important. And the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra is actually going through a similar project. They are revitalizing a theater in the downtown area on Wisconsin Ave. And being able to revitalize a district, be a part of that, and help the symphony thrive and grow within the Wisconsin market is also very important to me.
How did Associated Bank become the largest free performance stage at State Fair? And what role did you play in that?
We are the largest bank in Wisconsin, and so we're thinking through how do we connect back in with consumers within the state. Mm-hmm. And the State Fair is one of those logical connections. Kind of a funny story. It was my first year joining the State Fair, and so I was asked to come give a few words. And just before we get on stage, one of the individuals goes, "Oh, my goodness, no one talked to you, did they?" And I'm like, "Talk to me about what?" And she's like, "Well, it's too late, but you're wearing a suit, and we all have our State Fair T-shirts on, and so, well, we're just going to go on." And so got on stage, and everyone had fun teasing me being completely overdressed in a suit. Mm-hmm. And so being a first-timer, I was playing into it a little bit in terms of being razzed, and I was thinking through how do we give back to the community and to those who actually love the State Fair. And one of the most iconic ways to do that is actually the cream puff. And so after I got done with my comments and remarks, I decided to inaugurate myself with a new cream puff, and I took everyone from the area on stage, and we bought free cream puffs for everyone who wanted one that day.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. Now we're going to transition. So thank you for answering our questions. We are now be moving into our next segment, which is called Flip It, where you will be asking us the questions. So any questions that you might have for us, just go ahead and throw it out.
What is the biggest opportunity that you see as the digital space and marketing continues to change?
I want to go into business, so I'm really looking into starting up my own website, and I'm really trying to find a way to, because I want to be a photographer, so I want to find a way to put out my own pictures, and then draw people to a site where they can contact me, so I can start and grow my business.
That's excellent.
I think the biggest thing is the connections that you can build through the digital space is unlimited, and especially now you can, if you want to do something online, you can search and look at anything that you want to look into, I guess.
What was the question again?
With the digital world changing so quickly and all the different opportunities that you have from a marketing or communication standpoint, how do you see that changing? How do you see that evolving, and how do you see yourself fitting in?
I see it continuing to grow. I don't think we're going to go back. Fitting in, I think you're going to have to adapt with it either way. I think it's going to be the new. I mean, it already is the new thing, but continuing to go with it.
So changing topics a little bit, in terms of school and education, how do you guys see that changing, or how do you want to see it change in order to gain the learning and the experience that you guys are looking for?
Well, cheaper college would be nice, but I don't know if that's going to happen because as the years go by, more and more people go to college, so they can kind of increase the prices because as more people attend. But what about you?
I think people should really take advantage of internships and experiences with volunteer work to try different things. You really don't know what you want to be until you find it.
Absolutely. That's a great way to frame it.
I think more hands-on stuff than during school. For me personally, I'm not into books and all that, so more hands-on opportunities through the school would be really nice.
Yeah, so some more experiential opportunities?
Yeah.
So what type of experiences are you looking for business leaders to provide and help, different opportunities that you guys are looking for?
For me personally, I have a passion for traveling, so I'm always looking for opportunities to travel as far as like volunteering or internships, like work studies. Like I want to do things where I'm out of the country, like being immersed like in different cultures, that sort of thing. So I'm always looking for those type of opportunities because it's like it's not just one opportunity; it's 100 with that being in a different culture and setting. So that's what
great.
I'm looking for.
It's a great way to look at it.
I think businesses should reach out to kids. Like they should draw it. They could like advertise to kids what they do and what kids could do to like gain some experience, so that they know what they'd be going into if they did decide to work there.
Yeah, that'd be a great opportunity to have experiences on both sides in terms of your passions and your interests, and also being able to give the hands-on experience to see if that's truly something that you guys are interested in and ultimately want to go do.
Yeah, bouncing off her, I think like apprenticeship opportunities, big one for me. A lot of people would benefit. I think that'd be awesome.
That's great. So there's lots of discussion out in the market about millennials and how millennials are different than
Usually
any
negative.
other consumer segment. And I firmly believe that it's not in the negative, actually. I think society continues to change and evolve, and you guys are on the forefront. So being on the forefront of that change, what do you want businesses to know about you and how they should change, how they interact with you, and the type of things that they provide?
Well, I think it's so hard because our attention spans are, as you're talking about, like videos and ads and how quickly we'll just pass through them and stuff. So it's such a hard question because it's so hard to capture attention nowadays, especially in millennials. So you got to come back to me. I'm not sure.
Like millennials, I saw something quite a while ago about how businesses are having to change the workplace so that millennials stay more focused on what they need to do, but they also enjoy themselves, so they want to be there and not just blow it off.
That's great.
I think people look at millennials in a different way than they have any past generations, and I think they got like a negative vibe against us, I guess. But once they adapt with us and stuff, I think they'll realize we're just like you said, the forefront of something new that could be big.
I think a lot of times like we're so used to not having as much human interaction, or at least people looking at it that way. And I think in a sense like we crave more of that. So rather than businesses like trying to approach it like only online, like stay away from human interaction and that sort of thing, I think we want more of that now, or we're realizing like how much of that is kind of being taken away. So
That's great. And so, as you guys talked about and mentioned a little bit, sometimes millennials and some of the different ways you guys prefer to interact is sometimes framed up as negative. And as I mentioned, I like to frame it in the positive. So how would you guys change the conversation that's taking place out there and really frame what is the positive opportunity in terms of engaging with millennials in your generation?
Opportunity. If anyone wants to jump before me, I gotta take a second to think.
I think a positive way to look at it is like we know more about technology than the older generation. So if you could incorporate that into what we're doing, like in the workplace, it would be more exciting, and we'd have more knowledge base of it, and then we would be at almost the forefront of what they would be expecting for a new employee.
That's a great opportunity for us to think through the role of technology and how things should change on the job. I got a follow-up question in a second, but go ahead.
I think our generation is also like very creative and like open. Open-minded is not the right word, but like very creative. So I think if they the opportunities we like presented with them, if they took some of them, like listened, it might go big.
That's great. So one of the follow-up questions that I want to have is, as the millennial generation's coming into the workforce, there's a very traditional thinking of how a manager or boss interacts with a colleague or an employee, and what's expected and how work gets done. Can you guys talk a little bit about how you prefer to work, what that would look like, what that would feel like when you have someone who is your boss or your manager or your mentor? What type of relationship do you expect?
Me personally, I would prefer a setting where I'm bouncing ideas from a lot of different types of people and getting like a discussion going. I probably get the most work done like alone if I need to get work done, but I think it's really beneficial to hear all the different perspectives on an idea because you're gonna miss things.
Yeah, so very collaborative and open then?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
My job this summer, it really was helpful, and my boss, he was my boss. You knew you had to respect them and all that, but he was also like a friend you could talk to, and it was nice to have someone to talk to other than like he was older than me. But it was like it wasn't my friends that are my age. It wasn't my parents. It was someone like detached from my life but still in my life. It was like a good relationship, and you could talk about what you needed to be done and how it should be done, and it was a great experience for me.
So a little bit more of a mentoring relationship, going above and beyond. Here's the 3 things that need to get done, but helping you kind of expand and grow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I work on a farm, so like I'm hands-on doing stuff. But like my bosses, they tell me what I gotta do, but they're also helping me and setting up like a future, like trying to help me find references and do all that stuff. So I like that, having a boss that's trying to help you pursue even further in life than where you are now. And then the hands-on stuff is really nice.
That's great. So thinking through, whether it's the business environment or whatever career you guys decide to go in, if you guys were able to take a magic wand out and change one thing and make it the way that you exactly want it, what is something that you change about companies or businesses or the career field that you're thinking about?
Like our specific career field? Mm-hmm. I want to study international business. It's very broad, so I don't know if I have anything right off the top of my head that I want to change about it. I have a lot of hopes and aspirations for it. Like I want to be able to meet people from around the world, all that sort of thing. But as far as change, I don't think I have anything right now.
So being a bit more connected globally then?
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
I eventually want to open up my own photography business, so I would probably say if I could change one thing, it would be to increase the rate of small businesses that are successful.
That's great. So it would be counseling and help and mentorship in terms of, as individuals are establishing small businesses, how can we help support them and give them the knowledge and background that they may need?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a power line technician, so work on the power lines. One thing to change would be like more knowledge as a high school kid about those kind of jobs, or how to get into the trade jobs, I guess.
So what would be, assuming we have all the knowledge that you're looking for, what's the best way to get that knowledge to you and in a meaningful way?
Yeah, probably over social, no. I don't know.
I wish schools would implement more career exploration, because that's why I really love BizTank, because I'm hearing from people like you that I've never looked into those kind of careers before. And so in school, it's completely, you're on your own to find what you want to do. You're taught the classes, but you're not taught what to look for as far as what your career is, as much as I would hope.
Schools are pretty standard. You got your math, you got your science, you got your social studies, but there's nothing. I mean, there are some Project Lead the Way courses, and there are some business classes, but you're not going to take those classes unless you know you're going to want to do something along those lines. Mm-hmm. It's really hard for kids who have no clue what they want to do to figure it out on their own.
Yeah, so providing a broader opportunity so individuals get a chance to explore and learn and try new things.
Explore more early on, especially being a senior now. I haven't taken a marketing class at all in my high school career, and I wish I could go back to last year and start taking marketing and business classes, because now that's what I find I'm more interested in. But it's hard because early on we're not really given that exploration.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that's why this is BizTank's good. You get to see different people and hear different things, and you're exposed to way broader things and more specific than school.
Things that you wouldn't even think to
yeah
look into.
I mean,
For sure.
when we're little, we're asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you give answers like astronaut or singer or actress. And the chance of those being realistic dreams are very slim. But they just keep asking you that same question. They don't do anything to help you figure it out. It's difficult to try and figure out what you want to do when you have no help.
Yeah, so having opportunities and outlets to explore a bit more to figure those things out in the real world.
For sure.
If you guys were able to wave that magic wand again, is there some type of topic or subject within school that you guys don't necessarily see? It's like, if I could just learn about this thing, this would be great because this is what I'm really passionate about and a topic that I want to learn about.
Well, I'm passionate about traveling, and I haven't seen any type of class that has anything to do with like. And there's like there's like Spanish, German, like language classes, but there's no like culture classes that I've seen really, like world cultures. But that's more like history, and I haven't taken that class yet. But I wish there was like something that would be more interested in that specific passion that I have. I don't know.
Where I go to school, I do have access to the classes that interest me. We have a photography class, and we have all the business classes. So I really don't have an answer for this because I have what I want. So
That's excellent news. Glad to hear
Well, that's
that.
good.
Yeah, kind of like her. I got all the shop classes and the ag classes I want. But I guess if I had to pick one, like that I want to learn about and I'm super passionate about, would more be like the like taxes and stuff, and how to, like later in life, how to file all of them, and because I don't know anything about that stuff. It's gonna be useful.
Yeah, there's two things in life that are certain. It's death and taxes, and it's important to learn it earlier rather than later.
We have a personal finance literacy class. Do you have that?
We have personal finance, but
It's the basics, so that's
Yeah.
good at least. Yeah.
So flipping topics a little bit, what role do you perceive you personally having in volunteerism or giving back as you continue to progress and get older?
What do you mean by what world did you say?
What role or
okay.
how do you envision potentially giving back or volunteering
Okay,
and helping
gotcha.
communities out?
Well, I hope when I establish my career and everything, I'll be, making enough money. I'll be happy enough with my career and like settled enough to where I can like start like volunteering more and doing more of the things that I love now because I love traveling and volunteering now. So after I establish that career, I want to go back to the things that I know make me so happy right now. So.
That's great.
I think it'd be really cool that once I get established with my business and hopefully it's super successful, I think it'd be super awesome to then travel and take pictures of places that most people don't see and just kind of like spread that, share it, let people know what else is going on in the world.
That's great.
I think I'd give back in the way like experiences I had and trying to teach like the kids that are around me or like high school kids and teach them like, hey, this is what I did. This is good. This is like kind of guide them more because I've had a couple people in my life like guidance me and it really helped me, I think. So I think I'd like to do that back.
Kind of being a mentor.
Yeah, like a
to younger-
mentor.
That's cool.
That's great. I'm going to be a little selfish here now and ask you guys for a little bit of advice and help on my front.
Sure.
As I shared a little bit earlier, I have 3 young children that I'm the father of at home. And so my question for you is, as a dad, how do I encourage my kids to find their passion and learn and grow? Any opportunities that you think I should be thinking about or different ways to
Yeah.
approach it?
Well, definitely. I think about this all the time, even though I don't foresee myself being a parent for a long time. But I want to get my kids involved in everything possible, like all the different areas of clubs, sports. Like a sport is so good for a kid to be involved in for a long period of time, even if they want to quit, if they want to give up, like they need to build those relationships. And so like clubs and sports, like a 4-H, getting them exposed to as many things as possible, I think is the most important thing.
That's great. Thanks.
Yeah, I was pretty much going to say the same thing. Get them involved in whatever you can. Don't let them quit. Make sure that they stick through it. At least like that. If it's a sport, finish that season, or if it's a club, finish out the year. Don't let them stop just because they want to. make sure they continue on and finish it because they may end up liking it.
So why do you think that's so important?
It also teaches you, like, it'll teach them to not, like, say it's a project in school, don't half-ass it. Finish it. Don't...
Mm-hmm. I think it's so important because I played softball for a few years and then I quit because I wanted to, but when I was that young, I didn't know what was best, and I regret that because I realized how much I loved it and the people I met. But if my parents told me you need to stay in it, and like I wouldn't have liked it at the time, but I didn't know better than them at that point. So for me to make that decision, I don't think it was a good decision for me.
I think it teaches like responsibility and dependability also. Like, say you signed up for a sport, you said you were going to do it, like you committed, you might as well finish off that season. It shows people that you're like a reliable person. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And I think encouraging them too, if they're showing like an interest in like singing, buy them like a little microphone or something, because then they're gonna want to make you proud. So.
That's great. And obviously the times have changed quite significantly. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, as a parent that's looking to encourage their kids to grow and learn and explore and find their passions, what are the things that I should stay away from and things I shouldn't do?
As far as pushing your kids into things?
Well, just thinking through, being able to provide them the best opportunities. You guys gave some great examples of making sure they have a lot of breadth and depth of the type of experiences they have, making sure they see things through, responsibility and commitment. And so if those are the positives that we want to make sure that we instill as people are learning and growing, what are some of the things we want to be thoughtful about to make sure that we don't stifle that learning or we don't stifle that growth?
Gotcha.
I think like living through your kids. Like maybe
That's
you're
a
like
good point.
like maybe like you were
Didn't think
super
about that.
passionate about football or something, and your kid like tried football and he didn't really care for it or whatever, and you just keep pushing, like you're kind of like living through your kids. I think that's like something to try to stay away from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And letting them fail, like as you even talked about earlier,
Yeah.
is good because they won't know that they don't like it until they try it. So failure is good.
Absolutely. So last question for you guys.
Yeah.
As we talked about, there's lots of change out in the world today, and one of the things that is constant is change. So when you're thinking about trends, how things are changing, what would one of the biggest trends or one of the biggest changes that you see happening in the world that you think from a business and a company standpoint that we really need to pay attention to and be thoughtful about?
Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I know this one's just like pretty blatant and pretty. You know what's here. Social media and technology. Businesses really need to focus on what else is out there, what other companies are doing with the social media and all this technology. How are they influencing their customers and the consumers, and how are they trying to take your loyal customers and give them to the other company? You need to watch how other businesses are using the technology and use it better.
So a lot more focus on digital technology and social media and making sure that companies are staying on top of trends because they're changing so fast, and that being what I think you're saying is a key pivot point of how we interact with individuals.
I think about how diverse we are now. Like if you aren't at this, 2019, if you aren't advertising to all types of people now, you're gonna be shamed on. So it's like looking at all different types of people and making sure that they're all feeling included is really important.
So being thoughtful about diversity and inclusive culture to make sure that everyone is invited.
Mm-hmm, for sure. I look up, I see makeup brands. They will get so much bad reviews and different things that they're not having every single shade for all different types of women. It's very important now that every type of person is being considered. That's what I realize a lot.
Yeah, that was the route I was gonna go down as well. I think including everyone, or because diversity is big nowadays. You can't just target one group of people or one type of person. You gotta get them all in there.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Excellent. I did think of one last question. I cheated.
Yeah, go ahead. Shoot.
So I was reflecting on some of the conversations that we had and thinking through some of the things that don't exist anymore. So I'll give you a few examples. So when I was growing up, we went to the corner Blockbuster and we'd rent a video. And now everyone does Netflix. If you were in a large metropolitan city, you would hail a taxi cab, and now nobody does that. You hop in an Uber. So I think there's lots of examples of different types of products or services or industries that became obsolete over time, whether it's due to technology or whether it's due to different preferences. Is there anything on the horizon that you guys see that it's going to be outdated? You may not know what that next best thing is, but it's definitely on the horizon, and you see it, and it's not going to be here.
I think about that a lot because definitely as like a senior trying to consider my career and stuff, I need to make sure that I'm doing a future career, if that makes sense. Like, that's why I want to do like a global career in international business, because I'm realizing all these jobs and things are just, becoming obsolete. One of the things I thought about was like counseling and going to a therapist and stuff. I see that online now. You can chat with them online, like skip the face-to-face connection. It's easier just to talk to them online, that sort of thing. So it's like, it could have become a thing where you don't even see counselors or like therapists in person anymore. So a lot of those jobs, it makes me wonder what's going to come and go.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. That's great.
Manufacturing, it's going to be all run by robots and machines, and really the only kind of people that they're going to need are the people to make sure that it's running correctly and the people to fix it. They're going to lose all the operators. They're going to lose all the quality checkers. They're not going to need them. It'll be streamlined manufacturing, but it'll be a loss in jobs.
So manufacturing will be much more high-tech as compared to how it may have been in years past?
Yeah.
I think you see it now already, but like the car industry, I think a lot of them are going to go like autonomous or electric, just trying to save on the fumes or whatever. And I think that's going to be the big one.
Yeah, I definitely see, transportation and how we get from point A to point B is definitely in the process of being disrupted. And I think there's a lot of big change on that front as well. So I guess I'll open it back up to you guys. Any last-minute thoughts or questions that you guys have?
Not for me. Thank you so much for your questions.
Christopher, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your insight.
And thank you. You guys provided a lot of great insight and fodder as well. And so it was great spending time with you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.